not exactly sure how this should go, so I'm just going to kind of play it by ear, so feel free to stop me at any point in time. My name is Sarah Siplak. Oops. I'm the Director of Programs for SLB Radio. Here's the confusing part, something that we're working on. SLB Radio Productions, Inc. is the name of our nonprofit organization, but we are also the Saturday Light Brigade, which is originally what we started out as. We are also Youth Express, and we are also Pittsburgh Youth Media. Now I'm realizing as I say all this that maybe this should have been what I approached you with, but that's not what I'm going to talk about today. So the Saturday Light Brigade is a radio program for youth and families. It was started by Larry Berger, our executive director, in 1978. He was 13 years old when he came up with the idea, and when he turned 15, he had a radio program that was airing on WYEP, which is a local listener-supported radio station. Have any of you ever heard of WYEP? On your radio dial, it's 91.3. It's community-supported, non-commercial radio here in Pittsburgh. So he started this radio program. It was just a passion of his. He loved listening to the radio. Keep in mind, this is 1978. So at the time, TV was around, but it wasn't as popular as it is now. So a lot of people were still listening to the radio, which I know nowadays is not exactly what everybody listens to. So he started the radio program, went on with his life, went to college, became an environmental engineer, did that for 30 years while still doing the Saturday morning radio program every weekend. And he and his wife decided in 2000 to both give up their careers and tackle this head on, became a nonprofit entity, and in 2004 partnered with the Children's Museum to build our $250,000 radio studio there. So in the Children's Museum on the north side, that is where our studio is. It's a field trip location, and it's also where we actually do the live broadcast. And we also go out into schools, community centers, churches, after-school programs, in-school programs, and do audio workshops where we take a mobile radio studio with us. We do podcasting, we record performances, we do all sorts of recordings. Sometimes we record students reading their own poetry, talking about programming that they're doing in school or in after-school programming or extracurricular activities. And we also offer the opportunity to come on the radio program and be interviewed live and perform live on the radio. What I'm here to talk about today is youthexpress.org. So about 2 years ago, we got a grant from the Hillman Foundation, the Citrone Fund, which is now the 33 Foundation, and the Penguins. The Pittsburgh Penguins are big fans of ours, and they're an amazing foundation as far as giving funding to organizations working with youth. So we launched youthexpress.org, which is a 24/7 streaming internet radio program of all youth-created content. So if you go to youthexpress.org, which is this site up here, all you are going to find on the live stream, so when you go on it, there's a player at the bottom, and when you click it, it's just going, I can never guarantee what it's going to be.
I felt at first fear and intimidation. After hearing a cranky voice say, "Hey, you with the blonde, pick up a hammer and nail this in," I quivered with anxiety. However, once I strapped on my tool belt and lifted up my sleeves, I realized that the actual work wasn't too difficult. I grinned when I stood back and admired the work I accomplished. In fact, I felt so optimistic that I decided an unsanctioned trip to Sheetz for lunch couldn't do anyone harm, and the food I found...
So I'm not sure what that was, but that was a young woman talking about a project she was working on. Could have been for school, could have been at home, not sure. But the idea is that youthexpress.org is a platform to take the learning and the performing that is happening within Pittsburgh at this stage. We'd like to get it a little larger and have other organizations from around the world really feed their content here. And the idea being that this will become a platform to hear youth voice at any point in time. So we've created a SoundCloud page. Can you just raise a hand if you use SoundCloud? Okay, can you raise your hand if you know what SoundCloud is? Okay, all right, so SoundCloud is basically a website. A lot of bands use it. A lot of different people who have podcasts use it. What we have done is created a Youth Express page so that we can create playlists. example, on Friday mornings, my coworker Rob and I have been teaching a class for Holy Family students at the museum. And what we're going to do is eventually they're going to have, Holy Family Academy will have a playlist on SoundCloud so that any of the audio that is created with the students can live there, and they can always search for it and find what they want to and listen to it. So what I wanted to do is play like 40 seconds of one of the podcasts that we've done we work at the YMCA Lighthouse in Homewood, and they have an amazing studio. They just launched it this year. So the students are creating the music bed as well as curating their own podcasts about issues that are important to them. So really our role is just to help them create a podcast and do some of the editing with them. So let's just listen to like 40 seconds.
It's beautiful. My love is beautiful. I say, my love is beautiful. It's beautiful. My love is beautiful. My love is beautiful. My love is beautiful. It's beautiful. My love.
Welcome to Lighthouse here on Youth Express, recorded live from the Homewood YMCA. This is Jordan, aka Prince G, coming at you right now, and I'm a freshman at CCAC. Joining me today are
Your boy Kernani, senior from Westinghouse.
Hey y'all, Destiny, 18, also a freshman at CCA.
Toy, 16, and I go to Westinghouse.
Tyreek, I'm 17 years old and I attend Westinghouse.
Tristan, I'm 14 and I'm attending Westinghouse.
Shaheem, I'm 15 and I'm VA Cyber.
Clay, I'm 15 and go Westinghouse Academy.
What's up, I'm Robin, I'm also 16. I am also attending Westinghouse.
So that was created by the students using our equipment, but that was just them introducing themselves. That one is about 18 minutes long, so I don't want to play the whole thing. I know we're limited on time. So the idea being that they can then share this, download it, send it to people, send people the link to their playlist so that they can hear all of their podcasts. So what I'd love to do is give you all some information about who we are so you can check it out on your own. And I have a couple of different, I know I was asked to come up with 3 questions, but when I was talking it over with Larry, our executive director, we were trying to figure out what the best way to approach this with you would be. So it's more than three questions, but they're all very related. So what you can see, it's hard to see on the wall, but so this piece was published a month ago, and it's had 80 listens, which is actually pretty good. I would say on average, our youthexpress.org website, just the general website, at the very most, we've maybe had 6 listeners at one time. So keep in mind that it's very new, and it's, we're still trying to spread the word about it. So the issue that we're trying to figure out is how to get more youth to listen. So if we partner with Holy Family Academy, and you guys are creating podcasts weekly, monthly, biannually, what is it that we can do to drive traffic to your audio? Because the whole idea behind youthexpress.org is to have a platform for anyone in the world, really, to listen. Our mission as an organization at SLB Radio is to amplify the voices of youth and those who don't always feel like they have a voice. So we want to get this audio heard by other people. You guys have something to say. I think all too often, youth your age don't feel like adults want to necessarily listen to you, or that when you are trying to tell them something that they're not listening. And so it's important that you recognize that you do have a voice and we do want it to be heard. So how can we get this audio into the ears of other people? What is it that you as youth want to listen to? We don't want this to be, we don't want to play the most popular music that's out there. We do want to play your original music, whether you're producing it in a studio or you're writing a song on guitar or piano and you want to record it. What is it that youth want to listen to? So the first part is, how can we get more to listen? How can we get more people to listen? What is it that you guys would like to listen to? How do we get parents to listen? Right? You guys are in school 5 days a week. You spend a lot of hours in this building. How much of what you do in this building actually makes it home to your parents? I have a 7-year-old. He comes home with paperwork all the time. You know, I feel like in elementary school, as a newer parent, we're constantly checking up on him. We're helping him with his homework. We're, you know, going to concerts that, well, he hasn't done any concerts yet. But if he were to have one, I would definitely be there. And we find that as students get older, parents tend to get less involved. What is it? Why is that? So how can we get parents to check this kind of thing out? Grandparents, family members, friends outside the community. And then the last part of it is, what are the platforms that you guys are using that you want to listen to? Did we make a good choice in choosing SoundCloud? Or is there another platform that you know of where content can be fed that you think people would listen to? Yes? Spotify. So we did look into Spotify, and there was, I don't know off the top of my head what the issue was, but there was some sort of thing with the how you update content or how you can, the thing that we liked about SoundCloud, I think, was the playlist ability, the searchability, which I think you have less of an ability to do on Spotify. But thank you for that recommendation.
So just to recap, you have, you said, what is it that we can do to drive traffic to student audio or SLB radio, right?
Well, youthexpress.org. So SLB rate, that's the confusing thing that is a whole other topic, is that the Saturday Light Brigade is the Saturday morning program, but really what we want to focus on is Youth Express.
Okay.
Which is run by SLB Radio, but it is a whole different website.
Okay. And then 2 is, what is you that youth want to listen to? 3, how do we get parents to listen? 4, what are the platforms that you are currently listening to? And is there another place where content could be fed that
Yes.
in which you'll listen?
And the only addendum that I would add to point 2 is, again, we want this to be original content. So, you know, when I say what is it that youth want to listen to, we don't want to play the popular music. We want to play what you are doing. We want your original thought, your original music. So what is it that you as youth would want to listen to? Like, did the beginning of that podcast from Lighthouse make you want to listen, knowing that that was original music performed by students on location and hearing the voices of all of those youth? Did that draw you in? Is it maybe that we need to change the format of how we have youth introduce their pieces?
That was great.